the video produced and released by Salish newspaper is the authentic one. And we gave our reasons for taking that position, that video, which was released after the NPP had released theirs by Salish newspaper, is the authentic video as far as this issue of bribery involving our president is concerned. And we gave you reasons why the first video, which was released by the NPP to create the impression that what had happened was not a bribe. It happened in 2016, and there is nothing untoward about that. We explained to you why we thought that was false. Now, since then, the NPP has addressed the media and has made several statements about this issue. First, they have said that the video we played, I'm sure they are referring to the Salish newspaper documentary, the second one we played, is fake and doctored. And that we in the NDC doctored that video. We in the NDC produced that video to shore up our sinking campaign. In fact, Kojo Oponkroma on Top Story on Joy FM said that this video had been created by John Dramani Mahama to shore up his sinking campaign. And so the NDC has been blamed, we have been attacked. I mean, all manner of allegations have been made against us for producing and sharing or airing a fake doctored video which captures President Akufo-Addo as taking a bribe of $40,000. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today, 4th December 2020, we would like to reiterate our position on this matter and submit to you very strongly that the second tape we played at our last press conference on this matter, which tape was produced by Salish newspaper and released on social media by Salish newspaper, and which tape captures Ghana's president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as collecting a bribe of $40,000, is the authentic tape in this raging matter. We want to put that on record and stand by that position. Secondly, we will demonstrate to you today that we are not the authors of this video, and therefore we cannot be accused as having doctored this so-called fake tape. We didn't produce the tape. There is evidence to that effect. We didn't release or publish the tape. We have only seen a tape released by the NPP and that released by Salish newspaper as discerning people who can read in between the lines. We have analyzed both videos, added 1 to 2, read in between the lines, and we have formed an opinion, just like any Ghanaian, any entity can form an opinion. And our opinion on this matter is that the documentary from Salish newspaper is the authentic one. Indeed, President Akufo-Addo collected a bribe of $40,000. And so we are not the originators of the tape, and therefore cannot be accused. Our flag bearer, neither the flag bearer or Sami Jenfi can be accused as having concocted a fake or doctored tape to show any campaign. That is a red herring that needs to be treated with the contempt it deserves. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we show you some pieces of evidence which we believe will settle the authenticity of the Salish newspaper video which captures President Akufo-Addo as taking a bribe, before we will share evidence with you which will settle the authenticity of that tape and expose the dubious nature of the tape released by the NPP, permit me to scrutinize and interrogate the logic, the position that the NPP and some media entities are urging on us on this matter. Now, the NPP concedes that there is a video recording involving President Akufo-Addo, Ambassador Dr. Ajay Bewua, one Hejia Fozia, who has been interviewed by Asase Radio, and one Yakubu Salis. They concede that is not in dispute. It is not in dispute that a meeting happened between these four people in the office of President Akufo-Addo, and that meeting was recorded, secretly recorded. They concede, and that is why they themselves have released a video to that effect. Number two, they also concede that it is the Salis newspaper owner, who is called Yakubu Salis, who did the recording in the office of President Akufo-Addo. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if I come to your office and I secretly record you with a hidden camera, who will have custody of that recording? It is the one who did the recording. If I come to your office with a secret camera and I record you, you cannot tell me that you have the recording and I don't have it. Or that you who were secretly recorded have the original recording, but I have a fake recording. This is trite legal learning in the law of evidence. The originator of a recording is the one who is presumed to have the original, and is the one who is presumed to be in the proper place to give evidence on the original. You cannot tell me that you have been recorded, but you performed magic and got the original recording. But I, who did the recording, rather got the fake one. This is a cock and bull story which will only be believed by Marines. Salis Yakubu was the NPP saint. He was the angel who had given them smoking gun about Anas Arimiyah Anas's corrupt activities. They celebrated it, shared it on social media, and on the basis of that concluded that Anas and his partners are corrupt. Nobody in this country, no media organization, no person in the NPP challenged the authenticity of that Who Watches the Watchman documentary, which was produced by Salis Yakubu. Kennedy has confirmed that he produced it. Now the same Salis Yakubu has done Who Watches the Watchman Part 2. And that one captures not Anas, but President Nana Addo Dankwa William Akufo-Addo has taken a bribe of $40,000. And now we are being told that Salis is a blackmailer. The tape is fake. He has doctored it. Nobody should believe it. And media organizations are issuing disclaimers and calling the tape fake, dubious. The same Salis Yakubu. And the NDC, who did not produce this tape, nor released it onto social media, we are being accused as having doctored this fake tape, the so-called fake tape. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will prove to you here today that Salis Yakubu is a card-bearing member of the NPP and was an aspiring parliamentary candidate for the New Patriotic Party in the Yape Kusegu constituency. In this very year, few months ago, the NPP held their parliamentary primaries. In Yape Kusegu, one of the people who contested to become the parliamentary candidate of the NPP, he went through vetting and was cleared, is this Salis Yakubu who recorded President Akufo-Addo, and whose work is now being described as an NDC work. Vote number 1, Salis Yakubu Acholu as parliamentary candidate of Yape Kusegu constituency. Care for the needy. That was his motto. Let's see his position on the ballot. Let's see him. What's wrong? Okay. So that is Salis, number 1 on the ballot, just like President Akufo-Addo. Now, somebody will say that, oh, what shows that this is the said Salis who did the documentary? because there may be other Salis Yakubu Acholu. So this one, I will give you indisputable evidence from the lips of the chief defender of the New Patriotic Party and President Akufo-Addo, Abdul Malik Kweku Baako, who has confirmed that this Yakubu Salis is indeed the one who recorded President Akufo-Addo.
Salis Yakubu Achulu. He's the guy behind the Salis newspaper. He's the guy who did the secret recording of candidate Akufo-Addo.
You know that for a fact?
Sure. This is the guy. One title, this documentary a YM or Kokwarani. One title, Who Watches the Watchman Part 2. That is the guy who was behind Who Watches Watchman Part 1. That's the same guy. Look, this is a guy. Me influencing the entry into Tiger Eye. That's why I don't know the way I feel. In 2006, Metana Base, that is coffee shop, coffee shop. Like this gentleman walked to me. If I open that to me or your NDC activist, then now he's an MPP member.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Even or tried or run war primaries or nothing rich or baby or friendly there. Yes.
All right, thank you. It was not the NDC which released any doctored or fake tape or any tape that captures President Akufo-Addo taking a bribe. It was an NPP card-bearing member, former aspiring parliamentary candidate of Akufo-Addo's MPP, who recorded him, produced a 40-minute documentary titled Akufo-Addo Caught Pants Down, and released him on social media. And you can verify that. We're giving you evidence. Number two, we have established conclusively that the MPP and media organizations in this country went to town. They aired or are on record to have aired a documentary produced by this same Yakubu Salis and never questioned the authenticity of that documentary, believed it hook, line, and sinker, and projected same to be true. And therefore, the MPP and those media organizations are stopped by their conduct to question the authenticity of any documentary coming from Salis, because they believe him. And that is why they aired Who Watches the Watchman Part 2. They cannot say that Who Watches the Watchman, Who Watches the Watchman Part 1, they aired it. And so they cannot now say that Who Watches the Watchman Part 2 is fake. If Who Watches the Watchman Part 1 was not fake when it involved an ass, then Who Watches the Watchman Part 2 cannot be fake, having been produced by the same person. Or is it that, is it because now it involves the man who cannot be touched, the untouchable demigod, President Akufo-Addo, incorruptible President Akufo-Addo? That is why we are being censured not to talk about this issue. They have been exposed badly. Salis did not only release a video of what happened in the office of President Akufo-Addo. He has released other videos. A video recording of the personal assistant of the Deputy Chief of Staff, Asenso Boakye, demanding for money from the director or chief executive of the Urban Roads, Abbas Awolu, so that he can calm the nerves of MPP communicators and officials who were seeking the dismissal of Abbas Awolu. So in the 40 minutes documentary is that video which captures Edmond Che, personal assistant to Asenso Boakye, collecting money from people who worked with Abbas Awolu. And it is the same Salis Yakubu who recorded it. 2, he has also produced a recording of one Mr. Tosu, who works as Urban Roads, and who was heard in the video saying that they want Abbas Awolu out because he's an NDC man. and that he was doing the bidding of the NDC. He was the one, I can't play that video, but I want to remind you, he was the one who Salis Yakubu paid for his lunch. You remember that part of the video? All those incidents are not in dispute. All those incidents happened in 2017. So why was Salis Yakubu record Mr. Tosu of Urban Rose in 2017? That one the NPP doesn't dispute. Record the personal assistant of Asenso Boache in 2017, collecting money from Abbas Awulu to protect him. And that one the NPP doesn't dispute. Media organizations don't dispute. But when he records President Akufo-Addo in the same documentary, then oh, it is a 2016 documentary, it is a fake doctored video. I mean, what kind of double standards is this? What kind of duplicity is this? What kind of hypocrisy is this? What kind of dishonesty is this? We are saying that Salis Yakubu's video is the authentic one. Because I don't see how, for the life of me, the wife of the Urban Rose director, appointed by John Mahama and the NDC, will go to President Akufo-Addo and give him money and T-shirts for campaign to unseat the appointer of her husband so that he can sack her husband from office and investigate her husband, who has been accused by President Akufo-Addo as having inflated the cost of Urban Rose projects. President Akufo-Addo in opposition accused the NDC for inflating the cost of several Urban Rose projects. One is just sitting on my left here, the Circle Interchange. Who was the one who worked on that project? Abbas Awulu. And so President Akufo-Addo said that when elected, he was going to investigate it. And this, the MPP would have us believe that the wife of this man went to President Akufo-Addo to give him support for his campaign. We don't think that that story adds up. But ladies and gentlemen, let's even grant them that. Assuming without admitting that indeed this wife of Abbas Awulu was so callous, didn't care about the interests and welfare of her husband, and wanted the rival of her husband to be president, to sack her husband and investigate him for padded projects. And so she went to President Akufo-Addo's residence in October 2016 to give him 1,000 T-shirts and money for his campaign. Let's even grant them that. Assuming without admitting that that is true, what does it change? What does it change? An opposition leader at the time who was accusing state officials, public officials, for inflating the cost of projects, took campaign support from the same public officials who he had promised to investigate when elected. And people think that that can absolve the president of liability. That is even worse. What it means is that President Akufo-Addo did not become corrupt only in government. He was corrupt even in opposition. And so even in opposition, he was taking post-dated bribe. Bribe ahead of time. That is what it means. That is it. Either than that, ladies and gentlemen, we are all discerning people. Will President Akufo-Addo come into office and retain a man appointed by President Mahama and the NDC in such an important office? Retain a man he had accused for inflating road projects. Are we children? Abbas Awulu's counterpart who worked at highways has been sacked. His counterpart at Feeder Rose has been sacked. Only him, NDC Mahama appointee, now Akufo-Addo's darling boy. And we are being made to believe that the money was not a bribe. So whichever way you look at it, it is a bribe. And it's a smoking gun evidence that shows that President Akufo-Addo is the most corrupt president Ghana has ever had. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bako tells us that government has always been known of the existence of this video. I want us to use common sense here. They've always known that somebody had recorded President Akufo-Addo. And so that is why they got the original. How they got it, he says we shouldn't ask him. Kweku Baako says, don't ask me how I got the original. Government hasn't told us how they got the original. Mr. Baako is telling us that government already knew of this video. Let's say it was even in 2016. It means the video has been in existence for years. The MPP has the original, what they've always known. And yet, they didn't arrest Salis Yakubu. Yet, they allow Salis Yakubu to contest on their ticket as aspiring parliamentary candidate. A man who is seeking to disgrace your president, your flag bearer. You cleared him advertent and you contested on your ticket. He's not been arrested. I mean, you should be very naive to believe this cock and bull story. When I can forfeit Anadio Manasseh. And then what do? They quickly go to the house of Hajia Fuzia, the woman who paid the money. And then they interview her, and Hajia Fuzia says, oh, the money I paid was not bribe. And media men are going to town with this. Oh, the woman herself says that the money is not bribe. Really? When in this world, Parker, did you see a bribe giver, a bribor, accepting that he has paid bribe? Where in this world? A bribor, the giver of a bribe, accepting that I have paid bribe. Bribery is a crime. And so if I pay bribe and I am captured on tape, because I'm so foolish, I will come and say, oh yes, I paid bribe. This is the logic people are urging on us. The giver and the taker of a bribe are all guilty. One cannot exonerate the other. One cannot exonerate the other. And this is common sense. And people cannot do this simple analysis. Reputable media organizations. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, I am one person, or the NDC is a party which works with the media. We love you, we respect you, we appreciate you, and we will continue to collaborate with you. We are not on any mission to attack any media house. No. How would that benefit us? We need your highly esteemed messages to convey our message of hope to the people of this country. But just like politicians are expected to be truthful, to be professional, to be ethical, to be fair, media organizations are also expected to be fair. They are expected to be ethical, professional, and transparent. And just like when we go wrong, media organizations are able to criticize us. Media organizations are able to even do their own documentaries and expose wrongdoing or corruption in government. In that same vein, when media organizations treat political parties unfairly, we have every right to say it. When we say it, it is not because we are against them or we have anything. I have nothing against multimedia. I have nothing against Paul. Paul Adomoche, I will not even bother to respond to, because he is an Akufo-Addo appointee, board member, NCA. He's only doing the job President Akufo-Addo has paid him with the taxpayers' money to do. So why will I respond to him? He is just like an MPP communicator. But my disappointment has to do with multimedia. Multimedia has every right, ladies and gentlemen, to issue a disclaimer on any content which is aired on their platform, which content they cannot authenticate or verify. It is their right to do so. And so if they had simply issued a disclaimer that our attention has been drawn to a video which was aired on Nokwaremre by the NDC, we cannot verify the authenticity or the truthfulness of that tape. And so we want to distance ourselves from it, we retract, and we apologize to any person whose reputation has been affected by the airing of this tape. There wouldn't have been any problem, because you cannot force them to share your opinion. The evidence we have is not the evidence they have. And we cannot all have one opinion. And so they have every right to issue a disclaimer. But was that what they did? No. Beyond issuing a disclaimer, they went ahead to pronounce judgments on the issue of the authenticity of the tape and said that the tape indeed is fake and that it was redone in 2016 and all that. You can now put Multimedia's notice of apology on the screen because we are responding to them. If they like, they can cover it. If they like, they can take us off. Ghanaians will judge. I will not say what Mustafa Hamid said. I will not say I will deal with Adom TV. Who am I? If Sami Jenfi has said that I will deal with Adom TV, oh, the whole country would have come on him. Small boy. Who are you to threaten? You are threatening media organizers. That's what they would have said. But Mustafa Hamid can threaten Adom TV. And oh, they are running. They've all been cowered into cowardice, doing what they have never done before. This is their notice of apology. Yesterday, 1st December 2020, Adom TV aired a video allegedly of the president receiving a bribe of $40,000, which was shown during airtime bought by the National Democratic Congress. It has now come to the attention of management of Adom TV that the contents of the video as aired does not represent the full story as it understands, which was in fact a video of the then, which was in fact, a video of the then candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in October 2016 receiving a donation of 40,000 cedis. They have given the denomination cedis. In fact, in the video, they say 40,000. You see? So now they themselves have turned themselves into defenders of President Akufo-Addo, who are desperate to clear his mess and his shame. They are saying that in fact the tape is doctored. Okay. Multimedia, we believe so much in your reputation and your credibility. Share with us the evidence you have that shows that indeed the tape was a 2016 tape. Share it with us and we will apologize to you and go with your position. Have you conducted any forensic laboratory analysis on the tape? Was your reporter in President Akufo-Addo's office the day the recording happened? How did you arrive at this definite conclusion that the tape is a fake tape, it was done in 2016 and all that? Tell us. When we come on your platforms and we make allegations, you ask us for evidence, further and better particulars. Give us your evidence and we'll go with you and we will apologize to you. But if you do not, then on behalf of the National Democratic Congress, I am saying that Mr. Kwasi Twum and the directors, the owners, the managers of Adom TV owe the NDC an apology. They owe the NDC a retraction and apology for their notice of apology. The last point we will make on this matter is that President Akufo-Addo must speak on this tape. Listen, when the Airbus matter came, and I will address you on that very, very, very soon, President Mahama spoke to Daily Graphic. And since then, he's been asked questions on that and he has spoken to that. In fact, when that matter broke with the speed of light, in 24 hours, President Akufo-Addo referred it to Martin Amidu to investigate. And Martin Amidu says in his last letter that President Akufo-Addo actually reached out to him through an MP to investigate John Mahama. It's been so many days since this matter broke. When will President Akufo-Addo speak on it? Show me what Samia Wuku has said, their national organizer, my very good friend. Let's see when President Akufo-Addo will speak on this matter according to Samia Wuku. Akufo-Addo will respond to fake bribery tape after December 7. Really? Really? When Airbus came, he said, oh, President Mahama should speak. President Mahama should speak. Nana Kumia said, if I were him, I would just speak and lay the matter to rest. Why hasn't President Akufo-Addo spoken? Kojo Oponkroma, who is speaking for you, was not in the room. You were only 4 people when you took the money with both hands, like goalkeeper Ali Jara. So, why is Kojo Oponkroma speaking for you? Mustafa Hamid was not there. Why is he speaking for you? President Akufo-Addo is a lawyer of many years standing. He can speak for himself. He is on the campaign trail. This is a serious matter. The international community is watching. Let him speak. Just like John Mahama spoke on the Airbus, not just Airbus. You recall when Multimedia commissioned an expose on the Ford gift saga by journalists who used to work with them, very respectable journalist Manasseh Azuri. Did President Mahama speak on the matter or not? He spoke. He granted an interview to this MPP appointee, Paul Adomotre, was asked about the matter and he spoke. When the matter was reported to Strach, and investigations were being conducted. He was questioned, and he presented a written statement. He spoke. His lawyer spoke, and he was cleared. Coincidentally, even when he was cleared, that the fourth gift was not bribe, Multimedia didn't render any apology or retraction. Until date, they still allowed the matter to be discussed on their platform and allow people to say that it was a bribe, which is okay. This is fine. So we rest our case on this matter. We won't talk about it again. Maybe on Nokwaremre on GH1 on Saturday, we'll talk about it for the last time. But we are not going to address any press conference on it again. It's been settled. You know who did the recording? An MPP parliamentary candidate, Yakubu Salis. The same one who watches the Watchman Part 1 against Anas, that the MPP celebrated and shared all over the place. Believed hook, line, and sinker. Now, we hear that the MPP is seeking to equalize. Held a press conference this morning and made some unfounded allegations against the flag bearer of the NDC, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Our response to their press conference will be very crisp, because that's empathy. Ladies and gentlemen, this Airbus matter broke months ago, if not more than a year, but I think months ago, where the approved judgments of the Crown Court of Saudak and other deferred prosecution agreements in the District Court of Columbia established that Airbus, manufacturers of the Airbus aircraft, had confessed to the paying of bribes to officials of certain governments that they have worked with and certain companies they have dealt with. It's been months. Nowhere in that report, that is a report of the UK SFO on the Airbus matter, the approved judgment of the Crown Court of Saudak and the deferred prosecution agreements in the District Court of Columbia, is it said that any government official was paid any money in the Airbus matter. Not a phrase, not a sentence, not a paragraph, not a word in the whole documents on the Airbus matter suggests that any Ghana government official, not even the so-called government official one, collected money, benefited in any way, or violated any law in that transaction. So why the noise about this Airbus matter? I am throwing a challenge to Kojo Oponkroma and Mustafa Hamid. Let me add Nana Komia as well. And maybe Kweku Baako. And the MPP. That by close of day today, if they want Ghanaians to take them seriously, they should just show. Kojo Oponkroma can tweet it. Show us one phrase, one sentence in the whole Airbus deferred prosecution agreement or approved judgment in which it is said that a Ghana government official at the time the transaction took place was paid any money or committed any offense. And I, Sami Jenfi, I will resign as communication officer of the NDC. Ladies and gentlemen, this matter came months ago, like I said. Do you think? Look at how President Akufo-Addo hates John Mahama with a passion. Look at the way the MPP hates John Mahama. Their number one opponent, if they had evidence that he has taken bribe, will he be contesting this election? Can President Akufo-Addo dare Martin Amidu today? Can he dare him? When he warned him that if you joke, I will reveal more of your stinking corrupt acts. Silence. Since that time till now. But President Mahama dared Martin Amidu. And he dared governments, and till date they've not done anything full. Because there is nothing in there. It is empty. They are just looking for a bribery classmate for their president, President Akufo-Addo. But they cannot have one in John Mahama, because John Mahama is incorruptible. His integrity is unassailable. He's been deputy minister, MP for 3 terms, vice president, and president. Not a scintilla of evidence has ever been produced by anybody that shows that he has ever committed a crime or stolen any money in any of the public offices he has served, which will ensure that that no SHS student who has graduated and will be entering tertiary institutions next year will pay fees. Every first year student, whether you are a free SHS graduate or not, once you are entering university, polytechnic, nursing training, college of education next year, your school fees, John Mahama Sefani, it is free. Vote for John Mahama to make free SHS better by ending double track by his first term and by including private schools in the implementation of double track and investing in quality so that we can have free, quality, one-track SHS. Vote for John Mahama for 1 million jobs. Vote for John Mahama for the National Apprenticeship Program, which will ensure that any young person desirous to learn a craft will be enrolled as an apprentice with a master craftsperson. Government will pay the apprenticeship fee for you for free. You will be remunerated every month to support your accommodation and feeding. And when you are done, you will be given the necessary toolkits to establish your own business. Vote for John Mahama minus, so that the difficulty and problems you are being put through by this corrupt government will end. Those of you who have had your excavators seized will have it back under John Mahama. Those of you who have had your concession seized will have it under John Mahama. And you are going to have a gold board which will give you all the tools, the credit you need for your business in a way that does not compromise our water bodies and our environment in general. Cocoa farmers, vote for John Mahama for free fertilizer. Fishermen, vote for John Mahama so that the corruption in the distribution of premise fuel will end. Vote for John Mahama for jobs and prosperity for all. Thank you very much for coming, ladies and gentlemen.